For more than 35 years, Frank Chase has found his rhythm in the Killington community. He's more than just a piano player. He brings a soulful and unique performance to every gig he plays. With a catalog of tunes spanning from New Orleans jazz to ragtime, Dixieland, reggae to popular music like Mumford & Sons, Frank Chase knows how to engage the audience. We joined him at the Foundry at Summit Pond Thursday night before he began his midweek gig with WJJR's Terry J.
Walked out. She sure looked swell.
You know, Killington wasn't on the map, so I didn't know where it was. But it was Sherburne on the map. So once I got to Sherburne, someone said, "Oh yeah, it's Killington's the ski area." There was only 3 or 4 places: the King's Ford Charities, Bilbo's, and Mountain Inn was opening. So that was about it. There was about 4 places when I came.
38 years ago, a young Frank Chase drove into town, eager to start playing gigs at the Mountain Inn. Since, he's become a winter staple behind the piano at multiple Killington venues.
You know, I say I'm going to move on and do something else, but there's always a call saying, "Why don't you come back this season? We'll do this." You know, one year it was when Mother Shapiro's was here. He wanted me to play for that season. And then it was the Summit Lodge, which I'm still working at. I work there 1 day a week, and here 3 days a week with Terry, the drummer, and then I work a brunch. So it worked out.
Killington may be Frank's winter residence, but the rest of the year he travels the world, playing everywhere from Amsterdam to a riverboat in Oregon. His career in music began off the persuasion of his father to make it onto the stage in the Big Apple.
He wanted me to do Broadway, and I said, "I don't want to do Broadway. I want to play piano in a bar on Bourbon Street before I die." That's all I wanted to do. I want to be New Orleans piano player. And he says, "No, you're going to be on Broadway someday." I said, "No, I'm not." And I was right, he was wrong.
Frank has had many stints in the city that bleeds jazz music, fulfilling his dream of playing the Ivory Keys on Bourbon Street. But the sound of the Deep South can only get you so far. In order to capture more gigs, Frank had to diversify his catalog and learn to play different genres of music.
Playing Barrel House New Orleans piano, you're not going to work constantly, so I've worked cruise ships and I've worked piano bars around the world, and I had to play what was necessary to make a living, because this is all I've done since I've been 15 years old. The guy who inspired me was Dr. John when I first got to New Orleans. But it was all the older players too, the great jazz players from Art Tatum. Really loved Ray Charles, the way he played. All the way back to even Scott Joplin to Randy Newman. Scott Joplin and Randy Newman really are almost clones in some of their playing styles. And I heard of Tom Waits. I said, "Oh, this guy's too good for me." Of course, Tom Waits isn't requested too much, but when he is, I like to play his music too.
Spending time touring the world has awarded Frank the opportunity to see some of the best musicians in the business.
I got to see some of the greatest jazz and blues players of all time when they were alive. Some of them are still around. But to hear someone like Ahmad Jamal play piano in a club, or Roland Kirk and Rahsaan Roland Kirk in the old days when he was playing, his pianist, or just some of the Coltrane people. But I still like the basics.
Frank's signature sound is always evolving. He hardly writes a set list and rarely plays a song the same way twice.
Up here you try to feed off the audience if you can, because some nights it's very commercial music and some nights it's just the opposite. Some very obscure things. You know, you might get a Billy Joel crowd one night, but up here you might get a Tom Waits crowd another. And I like both. So I don't like them all, but I like both.
While Frank admits he loves playing solo gigs, a main reason he chose to come back to Killington this winter was to play alongside drummer Terry J.
I'm working with Terry J now because he knows what he's doing, and I like working with him. That's one of the main reasons I came back this year, so we could do a duo. And drums and piano, we don't even rehearse. I call out a tune, and I'll change. He knows I never do it the same way twice. And I'll say, we're going to do it this way, or I'm going to do this tune. We've never done this tune. We've done this before. And I say, I want you to play it as you feel it, with your own fills, stops, soloing. And that's why I like working with him, because he's not frightened at all about doing that. Occasionally we'll take a well-known song and give it any kind of rhythm we feel like a popular song that's never been played reggae style before, or a swing tune a little bit different. Or we have a reggae version of an old Animals song. It's kind of unique, but I heard the Animals do it with Eric Burden a couple years ago, and I said, I like that version, I'm going to do it. So it's just up to, it's up to me first, and then I let Terry fly with that, whatever he wants to do on the drums.
The reason Frank has stuck with music is simple. It's the surreal natural high he gets from wooing a crowd.
You never know who's going to show up. It could be old, it could be new. I like some of the young ones come in and say, well, this guy, you don't use synthesizers or any of that. I don't use anything except the piano.